what is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video. And, alright. So I want to talk about this whole, all-in announcement. It going to Wembley Stadium and everything. And really the ramifications of this whole thing, okay? So I'm going to kind of break down a lot of things here about this announcement and my take on this, because I'm kind of a little iffy on this whole thing to begin with. I'm not saying that this isn't positive, but I'm also going to be objective here and kind of go with a lot of the negatives about this whole announcement. And there's just a lot of different things. There's a lot of glaring issues with this whole pay-per-view announcement. So for anybody who doesn't know about the history of All In, like just the brand name of All In. So All In was a pay-per-view, which we'll get it up right now. The All In pay-per-view happened back in 2018, and it was booked by Cody Rhodes. Yes, the Cody Rhodes, who unfortunately did not beat Roman Reigns in the main event of WrestleMania 39 because WWE are stupid a lot of times. And I still do not agree with Cody Rhodes not winning there. That was the time to do it. But anyways, Cody Rhodes was, at the time, before he came back to WWE, was trying to revive the damage to his career that happened in WWE at the end of his WWE first career run. His first run in WWE came to an end with the infamous Stardust character. So he had left in, I think it was 2016, and started on the indies then, once his no-compete clause expired. And started working his way back up, basically. Then, of course, a couple of years later, he would start to become a big influence within the indies. And he started a pay-per-view while he was under Ring of Honor contract still, called All In. And this pay-per-view got 50 million buy rates. It was the biggest wrestling indie show, and that was what it was built as, the biggest indies wrestling show in wrestling, right? It was the biggest to this day pay-per-view to have that many buy rates on a non-WWE pay-per-view, basically. And still has a huge impact. I think it had a huge impact. Now, this was like kind of a co-promotion. Like, any promotions really could participate. Obviously, WWE didn't participate. But there were other, like, promoters that participated in this event. And they kind of all consolidated of who was going to win and who was going to lose stuff for this pay-per-view. And I believe... and I don't know if this ever went on DVD or Blu-ray, this All-In pay-per-view. I don't know if it's available for people to rewatch it or wherever it is now. Because I think technically now AEW actually owns the event now, since they did buy Ring of Honor since then. And we'll get to that also as well, the history of this. But basically, so Cody Rhodes, I believe, won the NWA title. Yeah, he did. He won the NWA title. He had already lost the Ring of Honor's title by this point. And Mysterio was also on this card too. I remember that Mysterio was on the card. Yes, this was when he wasn't with WWE, which was good for Mysterio too. That was another thing too. That really helped Mysterio. I will say that, because Mysterio, when he was at the end of his first run with WWE, like, oh my God, he was slow. I was like he was just doing too much to himself. And when he left WWE and went and just, took some time off and then went doing some indie stuff, he looked so much better. And he still does to this day. Now that he's back in WWE. So I think it also kind of benefited Mysterio as well. But getting to this point, so the pay-per-view was a success. Move forward to a year later, Tony Khan created AEW, and it was a direct result of this all-in pay-per-view that led to the creation of Tony Khan making an investment to make AEW, All Elite Wrestling. So it definitely has a very huge significance to the history of AEW, because had this not been a success, there would be no AEW today. So people are probably wondering why, for you casual people out here that are watching this, why didn't they do a All In sooner? Well, it's because technically Cody Rhodes was still under contract with Ring of Honor at the time they did All In 2018, and because of this, Ring of Honor's owned the rights to All In, so AEW could not assume it. They could not use it. So because of that, and since pretty much all the people that, really kind of put this on mainly were now under contract with AEW when AEW was created, this led to them not being able to use the pay-per-view because, again, Ring of Honor owned the rights to it. So because Ring of Honor's owned the rights to it, they could not do this. So AEW created their WrestleMania, which was All Out, and that is in the Labor Day weekend of September. And this has been basically, All Out has basically been their WrestleMania. They run it in Chicago as well. This is basically where it this is basically where it is. This is basically where they did it. And this is how it all started. And again, All In, like All Out, takes place in the state of Illinois. So there's also that as well. The 2018 one. So when All Out was created, it was the expectations that it would basically be AEW's All In, but also be their version of WrestleMania to WWE. However, since that, about a year ago, Ring of Honor, as a company, was bought by AEW because they filed for bankruptcy. And so Tony Khan bought them, and now they're basically a small promotion that Tony Khan basically runs, on top of running his main company, AEW. So because of this, he now basically owns the rights to All In, but for about a year, he hasn't used the name All In. But now that is changing. He is going to be using All In, and it is going to happen August 27th, 2023. And this is the promotional, as we showed earlier in the video. This is what it kind of looks like right now. However, instead of it being in Chicago or Illinois or the state of Illinois in general, it's going to be in London. And it's not only going to be in London, which is the first, I think it's their first even event they've run in London. I could be wrong about that. They may have ran a Dynamite in there. I'm not sure. But it's definitely their first pay-per-view event in London. But point being is they're doing it at Wembley Stadium, which Wembley Stadium can hold around 90,000 people. Now, the last time I think Wembley Stadium was used at a wrestling event, and I could be wrong about this, so I apologize if I am wrong about this, but the last time at least that I know of was 1992 when I was I think 1 year old, when they ran SummerSlam, and that was the main event was Bret Hart versus British Bulldog for the Intercontinental title. Now, when Wembley Stadium in 92 was ran by WWE, now of course it was taped and then showed live or being presented live on pay-per-view to North America, but in reality, the pay-per-view had already happened by that point. But there was really, the internet wasn't as big as it is now, and the dirt sheets weren't as big as they are now. And because of that, you didn't have to worry about spoilers. And so because of that, they just did it the normal time, the normal U.S. time, and ran the pay-per-view in UK live. But, we didn't see it live. And we didn't see it until hours after the event had been over when it came on. And that was in 92. Now, when it was in 92, Wembley Stadium, they didn't sell that out like that. They didn't sell no 90,000. Again, back in those days, WWE wasn't as big as it is now. So, again, that's another thing you have to take into context. But at the same time, even WWE today, I don't think could get to the 90,000 on a non-WrestleMania. Maybe at a WrestleMania they could possibly do it. But even then, I don't know exactly if it would work. The card would have to be good. And that's maybe why WWE will never do a WrestleMania at London or any of the big shows like that. But point being is, this is their first major event in London, overseas. And it's at a huge stadium, which I don't even think they really use stadiums that much for audiences, at least. I mean, yeah, they did the stadium match, stadium stampede match, but that wasn't in front of a crowd. So to run a stadium, AEW is only 4 years old. They're not a big-time brand like WWE. I know a lot of people want to think they are, but they're not. That's reality, whether you like it or not. They will never be as big as the WWE. You can, I know we're going to get a bunch of AEW fanboy bots in here, but, I like AEW. I like AEW, and I like WWE. I like WWE, and I like WCW. I don't see why people are so freaking fickle on being idiots when it comes to arguing which product's better. Point being is AEW is not as big as WWE is, and they never will be. And if you think they are, then you're delusional. They'll never be as big as WWE. Okay, that's common sense. They're never gonna get there. WWE has been a worldwide entity for several decades. It's just not happening. That doesn't mean AEW can't be competitive at one point, but it's not going to ever amount to them being better than WWE. That's just reality, guys. But in terms of AEW selling out 90,000 tickets in London in a market that they've never really gone to before, okay, that's a huge risk. I don't see them selling out 90,000. I think realistically would be 4,000, 50,000 if certain things happen. But I also want to talk about some other things here that not many real people are talking about. They announced this pay-per-view is going to be on August 27th, a week before supposedly their WrestleMania All Out, because All Out is on September Labor Day weekend. It's in September, the first week of Labor Day. Okay? Labor Day weekend. That's when they do All Out. How the hell are you going to have All In and All Out a week apart? You literally have to double build the card. Like, if you're going to build out All In, then you're going to also have to build in All Out at the same exact time. And a lot of the guys that work All In are most likely going to work All Out as well. So, I don't understand why you would do this. And for people that are thinking that, they're going to move it to October or they're going to move it to late September, All Out, no, that's not happening. It was confirmed that they're keeping it a week later, which I don't understand why people aren't talking about this, because that's pretty bad. Like, how are you going to have two pay-per-views a week apart from each other? That just doesn't make sense. That makes next to no sense. So that's a big issue. how can how can a Wembley sell the stadium out? The only way I see, well, first of all, I don't see any way that they could sell it out. Do I think they could get about 50,000, maybe more? Yeah, probably if they have CM Punk on the card, or if they have, well, they got to have CM Punk on the card. Because CM Punk's their number one draw. Like, that's going to be the one that draws interest. But I don't know what the stance is. You guys know I'm 100% on CM Punk's side. I never had an issue with the Young Bucks or Kenny Omega before this whole thing with CM Punk started. And you guys go look back at my history. I never said anything bad about those guys until they fucked with CM Punk. When you fuck with the man, then we got issues. Because everybody knows that they busted in his private locker room and they pissed him off. And they knew that. And by the way, according to AEW All Access show, apparently they're still EVPs, which, by the way, they would have gotten fired from any other company if they had done that bullshit somewhere else. But, of course, Tony Khan didn't have the cojones to be a boss and fire them from their executive positions, because that's what should have happened. Even Bret Hart's starting to call him out on it, Just don't ask him about Goldberg. Don't ask Bret Hart about Goldberg, but everything else ask him about. So yeah, I mean, could they sell this out? No, I don't think they're going to sell it. I don't think there's anything. I don't even think CM Punk being brought back is going to help that. But I do think CM Punk can help the tickets. He could definitely help. He's the first person to get AEW to $1 million gate, number one merchandise seller, and a lot of stuff. I mean, he'll be healed by August, but that's another video for another time. But point being, I think this is a big risk. I think that if you're going to do All In, that's fine, but don't do it right a week before All Out. That just doesn't make sense. One of those pay-per-views needs to be moved to somewhere so you can spread it out. And I don't care that they have more than 4 pay-per-views. Now they had 5 as of last year. Now they're going to have 6 this year. I don't have an issue with them expanding pay-per-views more, but you still have to spread them out. And I just think this is really bad on their part. But yeah, that's my thoughts on this. It's a big risk. We'll see what happens, but there's no way they're selling out. I give it a 99.9% chance of them selling this out. There's no way. 99.9% chance of them not selling out. They got a 0.1 chance of being able to sell it out. I don't see them selling this out. Let me know what you guys think. Comment, rate. If you like this video or my videos, please subscribe. And, yeah, that is about it, guys. I am the SS Ultimate Goku. I'm out of here. Peace!